here's oh, I might ruffle some feathers for this discussion I'm about to have, but I guess I was kind of holding on to this, and we might lose people. So if you're still here and listening, make sure you like and subscribe and follow the show, and leave us a review. But before I get into making everyone mad and turning this off, the issue that I start to see, or that I'm starting to see, is that it's not necessary. It's about when people try to isolate themselves from other hunters. And so they lease this land, they lease this stuff, and then they want exclusive rights to hunt it. And so, and they're only interested in one thing, and that's harvesting a big buck. Like, I get it. Everyone wants to harvest a big, I understand that, right? But the problem is that they isolate themselves to that. They don't allow anybody else to come in there to hunt, to harvest does or anything. And so they inadvertently create these deer sanctuaries, which then the state in turn is like, listen, we need to reduce our population rates. Like, they're too high. Like, we need to do something about it. But you can't get people to access. Like, I can easily manage, the farms that I hunt to have access to, right? We can bring people in, we can do all these things, and we can do that. That's great, but that only affects that very pinpoint area. But then when you have this area that has, and I always said this about the where my mom used to work, which is the Cambridge Developmental Center. There was deer everywhere on that property. You couldn't hunt them. Like, they were everywhere, right? So it was a sanctuary for them. So you're not doing anything to the population, not helping it, and you're not able to access those to help reduce the numbers like they want. And that's the same thing that happens when these properties get leased out, where no one else can get access to them, and you're only interested in doing one thing. My next problem that I have with it is that there are some individuals who will totally take out this giant swath of land that they lease and then never hunt it. So nothing happens there. Like, no one can access it. It's just left there. So my problem with the state and my problem with all that is the reduction of access for people. That's the issue I have with it. And, and I don't know if there's a good way to go about reducing it. I don't know if making all non-residents, even non-resident landowners, go to a draw to get deer tags. I don't know if that would even address or fix it. Because right now landowners can kind of get even if they're non-resident, can kind of get their tags. But if we make them all go to a draw,
Well, you kind of swing back into now you've got a sanctuary. They don't draw their tag this year. That's another year of no pressure on that plot of land that the deer can use as a sanctuary.
yeah, but do they lose interest then because they can't draw a tag? So then they decide to get rid of that property because they
No,
can't.
I personally don't think so. Because we already have a lot of that whitetail mentality of let them go, let them grow. And if my property's acting as a sanctuary where they can feel safe, and now this is just opinion, this isn't fact. So, but now they have this place that they can feel safe year in, year out. And I have the chance of maximizing antler growth potential. Like, I can still go in, I can still work on food plots, I can still keep the deer around that are coming around. And the farm next to me might be hunting. How many acres? We don't know. But you, they still only get that one buck tag, and so you still have a lot of growth potential in that said sanctuary. So I don't know that it would take anyone out of it.
Right.